Alright, this is a video on graphing absolute value functions. This is 3.7 from the workbook. And it's a different graphing technique. It's something that we deal with something called a parent function. But what we realize is we find the most simple form of an equation that graphs. So this is it right here. Y equals the absolute value of x. And if I graph it, I get this V-shaped function, okay, that starts at the origin of 0, 0. And basically, how do I graph other stuff is I just correspond it to this one and shift it and move it accordingly. So I'm going to show you all the different types of shifts that we're going to see here. So the main thing is keep in mind that this V shape going up starting at the origin is our parent or our starting point. So the first thing I have up here is, well, what happens if I put a negative sign? Well, what that does is it flips the function. So it still starts from the same spot. It just goes in the opposite direction. So a negative sign flips it upside down. That's all a negative does. Okay. Moving down, what happens if I add something inside the absolute value? And this is the one that throws people off the most. Well, I'm adding it to the x, so it's going to shift me this way or that way. But the problem is it's contrary to what you might think. And so you think, oh, hey, plus 3, that's positive. Positive's in the right direction, but since it's inside the absolute value, it actually goes the other way. So instead of starting right here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. I know it seems like it's backwards, but there's a reason why. And then I will draw the same one as my parent function. It just happens to be going 3 spaces to the left. Well, when I add something, if it moves me to the left, when I subtract something, it's going to move me to the right. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And this one, just draw the same one. It just moved me the opposite direction. Alright. And there's my V-shaped function. So when I subtract inside, it moves me to the right. And when I add, it's the opposite. Looking at our next scenario, what if I add something outside of the absolute value? Now this moves us up and this moves us down. And it does go in the way that you would think. So this one actually goes up. Remember, from my starting point, it goes up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then it's the exact same graph. Alright. So if I add it outside, it moves it up and down, and it goes the direction, the positive, negative direction. And then our last example here, it's minus a 4, and it's outside, so it goes up and down the same way. And it goes down 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that point that I keep moving, that starting point, is actually called the vertex. And that's all I'm really doing, is moving that thing around. Okay? So since I added or subtracted outside, it moves me up or down. If I add or subtract inside, it moves me left or right. If I throw a negative sign out here in the front, it flips me upside down.